Welcome to the Twisted Madness Show. I'm your host, Evan Locke, and today, on this fucking bullshit, this is an impromptu episode. Right off the bat, I'm just gonna say it. I wasn't planning on starting this series. I was planning on more professional things and, like, scripts and shit, but you know what? This pissed me off so much. This actually infuriated me so much. It was so bad when I saw it that I couldn't wait. I had to make a video on it because this is so fucking stupid and, like, you'll see. Like, believe me, like, I'm just gonna get right into it because, yeah.
Not all weapons hit the mark. The base shotgun still feels kinda unsatisfying, which is a detriment to the game's first few levels since they are heavily focused on shotgun use.
What? Really? It's unsatisfying. Tell me how. Like, actually tell me how. I want to know, because to me, this is one of the best weapons in the game. And the first few levels are tuned for it? Well, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. Because the way it's tuned, this shotgun, it's actually very accurate. What suffers in this shotgun is not the accuracy, it's just the damage output. So, even from very far away, you hit exactly where you fucking aim. And not only do you hit exactly where you aim, it's still, no matter what the range you're firing it at, it's always going to deal a significant amount of damage. And not just that, if you're up close with an enemy, like pretty much close quarters, it one-shots most of the smaller enemies, like the imp equivalents. I don't know the names, but like the imps, it one-shots them. The headshots actually matter too. So if you get a headshot, that's even more damage. And because of your movement speed, especially when you're sprinting, which I recommend turning that shit always on. If you're always sprinting, you can go so fast that you can just, like, run straight into an enemy. Like, even the shotgunners, like, you can time it so that you go literally point blank and you one-shot them with the regular fire of the combat shotgun. And that way, it's actually kind of OP in a way. Of course, if you just shoot the shotgun from afar, it's gonna kind of feel like ass because it's not going to do much damage, but at least you're going to hit where you're aiming. You're actually going to hit your enemies that you're aiming at. So that's a plus. So it's not really bad. It's awesome. It's just... Have you even played the game?
The alternative fire still feels kinda meh, and once the super shotgun comes into play, the base shotgun might as well be discarded altogether.
Okay, hold the fuck up. Let me unpack this. Firstly, the secondary fire is kinda meh. Again, you didn't tell me how. At all. You didn't even say a single word going towards a single sentence to tell me how anything that you're saying is the way that you're saying. So see, anything, like, if you're watching the video, like, for me right now, to even know what the fuck you're saying, I have to figure out what you mean. Like, I have to simulate a consciousness in my head that's your consciousness, that I have to approximate what you mean by that. From scratch. I have to actually figure it out from scratch. I have no idea what you mean. I've played the game and I have to be like, what could you find that's good or bad? Like, what did you mean by that? And, like, do you have any idea, in reality, the extent of how much what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to communicate, the entire goal, what you're trying to do, you're self-defeating. Like, it's worse. Not only do you not communicate any of what you mean, not only do you not help people, you're concealing it. Like, it's actually a nightmare. What you're saying is literally this good, this bad, and that's it. But no, it gets worse. It gets worse because you're including aspects, like, You're saying this particular thing is good or bad in this particular way, in a way where any way that I'm trying to figure out any aspects of the things you're talking about, I find the exact opposite of what you're describing it to be. Reality is the opposite of what you claim it to be. Do you understand the severity of your mental situation? It's not like I try, I try to see what you mean. But when I look at the stuff you're describing, I look at reality, I see the things, and the description, the objects are made up of stuff that is the opposite of what you're saying the stuff is. Like, you're insane. And it scares me. I'm not being an asshole. I'm not. I care about you. You're base. You're one of my role models, dude. But, see, this is the fucking bullshit at the beginning that I was like, this infuriated me so much. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was referring to. Look, this is so bad that I couldn't even start. What I was going to address is how the secondary fire is and how it's not meh, and how it is instead of meh. But I couldn't even get into it. Because look, remember, like I said, I had to simulate a person in my head from scratch and figure out what you could mean by any of that. And in the process, I couldn't figure out how a human or anything conscious, or I couldn't figure out your thought process at all. Like, I'm assuming that you're trying to review the game and explain to people what you think about it, how you feel, why you feel that way. You're trying to communicate information to people, and in the goal of telling people what the game is and all that shit. But I don't get how, like, the way you're doing it defeats the entire purpose at every level. And it's so bad that you're not saying anything other than criticisms, which are completely empty. Like, every single thing that's objective that exists is removed from what you're talking about. Like, it seems like the only explanation is that you're bullshitting, and in reality, everything you're talking about, it's the opposite in reality, and that's why you're not mentioning any details, because there's nothing there. It looks like you're actually trolling all of your viewers and lying to them, like, right in their face, in a way where you have to actually be fucking retarded to not see that the person making the video is taking the piss at you and lying about everything. And it's so obvious that every single thing is the opposite in reality. Like, if you know anything about the game at all, you know immediately that's all bullshit. And it's like so obvious that it looks like you're taking the piss, and you're like, how do none of my viewers realize that I'm being an asshole and I'm actually making a video where I'm watching them fall for my gaslighting that I made? Like, I went out of my way to make it so that the gaslighting is as obvious as possible, and that, like, you can't miss it. And everyone's still falling for it like it's not a video where it's a guy trolling. But no, I can tell that you're not an asshole. I can tell that you're being genuine. And it scares me. But I think I figured it out. I think I know what happened there. And I think I can explain it. And even that pisses me off. Because, well, you'll see. See, all right, I'm just going to back to the actual video, the actual game. So, the secondary fire is awesome because I figured out by playing myself that it seems like it's kind of random and it's kind of shit. Like you aim at something, you aim at an enemy, and then you shoot, and it does nothing. Like you missed, but how could it be? You know how to aim with the shotgun, but the problem seems to be that with the shotgun, it's pellets. Like there's a spread, there's an area that's pretty big that you hit your enemy, but with the charged shot, it's like a single pellet that's like a single pixel or something that's very, very narrow. And you've got to be dead on or it's going to actually miss. But see, that's good because it actually works at very long distances. If you take the time to aim, which I know the reticle, it's a square, and even that's pretty, that's too big at long distances, but that just goes to show how far away you can aim with it and still one-shot an enemy. Like you aim at the head very far away to where actually the damage of the shotgun in the regular fire mode would be negligible at best. But still, at that range, in the secondary fire, if you take the time to aim, get a headshot, it one-shots the enemy, like the M's, the shotgunners. It one-shots them, and it costs a single shotgun shell. All right, so that's out of the way. Now let's address the second thing, which I'm going to replay the clip because it's been so long. You probably forgot. I know I fucking did.
Once the super shotgun comes into play, the base shotgun might as well be discarded altogether.
That just made me sad. Dude, hearing that makes me sad. Because discarded altogether? Now, look, I'm going to play devil's advocate. And consider that everything I just said about the combat shotgun and its uses and everything, consider the weapon's complete fucking garbage. Consider it's completely unusable. Consider, like, it's shit at being a gun. All right, got that? Okay, so now, in Prodeus, you've got to reload the guns you're firing. You have to reload. So considering that, and the fact that your ammo, you don't have a lot of ammo. It's basically just a tiny bit more than Doom Eternal. So, and you don't have a chainsaw. You have to pick up the ammo, well, pickups. And then look, the ammo you have is limited. But on top of that, since you have to reload, you've got to consider how many shots you have before you have to reload and the reloading time before you can fire again once your ammo is deplenished. I meant depleted, but you know what? I looked it up. That's actually a word, so joke's on you if you fucking questioned that. But yeah, consider that, and then realize that weapon combos, they're actually like your bread and butter in this game. They're even more essential than in Doom Eternal. It's pretty much mandatory in this game. If you don't weapon combo all the time and consider the reloading in the weapon combo so that you're like, okay, so I only have this many shots before I have to reload. Okay, so I'm going to fire this weapon combo, and then I'm going to switch out, and I'm out of ammo, but I'm going to do this weapon combo. And actually, I had one left in the shotgun. And you see, you have to weapon combo even more than Doom Eternal. And then the reloading time makes the combat shotgun actually, even if it was only like dealing some damage and it wasn't that good of a weapon, the fucking pistol is one of my main tools in your Doomslayer's arsenal, guys. You've gotta... I'm Hugo Martin. God, I fucking love Hugo Martin. But anyway, yeah. The pistol is actually very good because ammo, you've got to reload. Consider that the shredders are basically a better pistol, right? Right? But no, because the magazine that you have in the pistol, even then there's weapon combos, the secondary fire, everything, how it's a precision weapon because it's semi-automatic. I'm going to discard all that. Just the fact that that's an extra way to deal damage, that's actually, like, no matter what, every weapon becomes kind of, well, when you've got a lot of weapons, not really, but you know what I mean. you select your selection of weapons, and every weapon your favorite weapons, they're all useful. And even the ones that you wouldn't think that they're useful, even if you don't use them, sometimes you're like, you run out of ammo on all your guns, you're like, fuck, I can't reload, I'm fucked. But then you're like, oh, I remember, I never used the chain gun, I'm gonna whip it out, and suddenly the chain gun is actually my savior. Now just think about what I just said, and just think about it, the same concept, but replace the chain gun with not even the pistol, but yeah, the pistol, even the pistol. Sometimes it's like, I'm out of ammo, the only thing I have is a pistol, but you know what? Dead. That's all it took. That's all I needed. And that was the extra enemy that I couldn't deal with, and I can actually reload now, but you know the pinky, how you can't run away from them, like it's right in your face. And all you needed is that little 3-shot burst of the pistol to finish it off, else you're like at 15 health and you would have died. But then you're like, okay, I'm gonna take cover, whatever. You know what I mean? Apply that to the shotgun as well. Like, there's no way that the shotgun could be like, oh, I'm just gonna discard it. It's useless. Like, that, what you just said is just, like, you see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to build the opposite of a straw man. I'm looking as far as I can, every single possibility I can, but I just see the reality that what you just said is completely wrong. It's false. It's not true. It's bullshit. Oh, hi, Mark. Like, best case scenario for your argument well, I'm not even going to say argument. It sounds like we're fighting. We're not fighting. I'm just talking. I'm just trying to talk about stuff that interests me. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to communicate. Anyway, yeah. Best case scenario, what you said is not only wrong, it's the opposite of right. It's the opposite of what's true. And it hurts me so much to see you say all this. Because you're the guy. Like, UnderTheMayo, when I said you're one of my role models, I wasn't kidding. You're an actual genius. You're one of the pioneers of weapon combos in Doom Eternal. You figured out, like, I played the entire game just fine. I loved the game. And I never really, I was doing, like, weapon switches. I didn't even know a weapon combo existed. Not only that, when I watched your videos, you were finding the most amazing weapon combos that nobody would ever think of. And it was incredible to see. Dude, you were so smart. You were so right. So everything that came out of your brain was perfection to the level of a genius. I was like, this nigga Albert Einstein. Like, the entire game, Doom Eternal. I don't even know if I would still play it to this day if it wasn't for you. I'm being serious. The game has infinite replayability with just the concept of figuring out new weapon combos and how to use the different weapons and considering the animation times. And look no further than you suggested a bunch of stuff for the full auto mod on the combat. What a coincidence. The combat shotgun in Doom Eternal. The full auto mod, you listed a bunch of things. You were like, you brainstormed, you were like, this and this and this. And the developers were like, of course. Yeah, you know what, UnderTheMayo? That's genius. You know, we couldn't, like, not everything, but we considered it, and you know what? Play it. You're gonna see some changes. And you know what? A lot of things changed. Thanks to you. And don't go saying, oh, I was just the one. No, who came up? No! You came up with it. You were a genius. You figured it out. The developers were like, yeah. And don't go saying that, oh, other people were suggesting things and all that shit. No, take credit for what you invented. Take credit for your genius, dude. And to see you go from that to in Prodeus, where Like, this is what I mean, considering your argument on its strongest foot. Look, the reloading makes it more of a thing where you need weapon combos, and you disregard entire weapons that, like, I made up my own weapon combos, the same way you did for Doom Eternal. I made up my own weapon combos in Prodeus. Like, one of my combos is with the charge shot on the combat shotgun. I charge it, and then I headshot pretty close up on the pinky equivalent. But even from far away, it works. But I headshot him with the charge shot of the combat shotgun, and then I switch to my pistol, and I 3-shot burst his head, and I'm on the second to last difficulty. I think it's very hard. And just that weapon combo, the shitty little starter combat shotgun, secondary shot, 1 shot to the head, and then switch to the pistol, 3-shot burst, he's dead. That costs nothing. That costs 3 bullet ammos, which is nothing because you have hundreds, and 1 shotgun shell. And you take out basically the most annoying enemy and the most dangerous that you can't even run away from. With just that. And I played the game and I was like, damn, I want to see what UnderTheMayo has to say about this. And I was like, did he figure that out? I want to see the weapon combos he figured out. And then I looked at the video and I saw horror. I saw that's not UnderTheMayo anymore. And it scared the living hell out of me. Like, just think, the super shotgun, either it fires 2 shells at once or 4. That's a lot of ammo. Just that, to see you bullshit away that the combat shotgun could one-shot enemies from even, you could snipe enemies with 1 shell and it one-shots them, to see you bullshit away that it even has a purpose at all in the game. When it's so obvious that the super shotgun basically speedruns through your entire ammo stores. Like, what?
Since these two weapons share the same ammo type, I personally feel the grenade launcher ends up being a bit redundant and easy to forget about. There's probably something I'm overlooking in the grenade launcher. You're welcome to tell me about it in the comments.
Okay, see? There, he's talking about the rocket launcher and the grenade launcher. And see, the grenade launcher, I'm not even going to go into that because I don't even use it pretty much. Like, I've tried it on an earlier build of the game in the pre-release, but I haven't gone through the entire game yet, the final version. Anyway, see? The thing he missed. Look, I'm trying to help you, dude. The thing you missed is weapon combos because you have to reload. So, look, the rocket launcher, just firing the rocket launcher when you load up another rocket, it's actually long enough. Like, it's pretty long. The animation, it's so long that when you need an area of effect, an area of damage, like an explosion, you're like, fuck, the rocket launcher, I just fired one. It did the thing, but, you know, I can't wait. I'm in a tight situation right now. I need the grenade launcher, and then you switch to the grenade launcher and use that instead. And so you combo it that way so that you save those precious seconds from the reloading animation.
Being able to shoot 6 grenades, one after another, instead of shooting 1 rocket and then reloading,
yep, exactly.
was very useful.
Exactly.
Sadly, there's just not many other moments like this.
No, see, that's UnderTheMayo. Now I recognize you. Exactly, dude. That's the genius. See, we came up with the same thing. It's just, I came up with a combo and you were like, well, I found a situation where doing that, switching to the grenade launcher, helped with the reloading animation of the rocket launcher, but I can't see where else it could fit. That was awesome, man. It's such a shame that it only happened there. And the whole reason, the entire Like the logic behind making up the combo was to shorten the reloading animation of the rocket launcher. And you fucking genius, the exact same thing went through your head where you're like, damn, it's nice to not have to wait for the fucking reloading animation of the rocket launcher. And yeah, I guess the grenade launcher was nice, but it would be nice if there were more opportunities for me to use it, and I can't find any. Well, look, the same thing, we came up with the same thing, and I found you the solution. But it's all thanks to you, because I was using your logic, I was using what you taught me in your Doom Eternal videos. So look, just pick back up what you left off.
The difficulty of Prodeus is alright. It's hard to evaluate just how hard it is due to the checkpoint system, and we'll get to that later.
And this brings me to my final point. Look, after that, after this section, this section is from earlier in the video because I saved it for later. But later in the video, after the last section, Mayo actually starts to get into it. He starts to make sense. He starts to explain things, and it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. And exactly, and now he makes sense, you see? Maybe he was warming up, I don't know, but look. Anyway, this could go on forever. This is already 30 minutes long, so I'm gonna cut it short. See? The Nexus checkpoints, I think that's the culprit here. This is the reason for Mayo's, insanity. This is the reason, this design, this feature of the game, when I said, are you fucking retarded? This is retarded. This is stupid. I don't see why they would design this in the game. Death has no consequence. If you die, you just respawn infinitely. You can just respawn full health. And then, look, all the weapon combos to manage your ammo so that you don't get caught and die. There's limited resources in the levels so that you have to actually pick up the health. When you get damaged, you have to pick up health and armor in the level because you don't have the flame belch. And you just don't have the glory kills giving you a lot of health. And just killing demons just doesn't give you health. So you have to deal with the resources that's designed within the levels. You have to pick up the health and armor that's available, which is it's specially designed so that, and this is the thing, just don't use the checkpoints. If you die, restart the level, because I'm telling you guys, it's designed so that the resources in the level, it's made so that without the checkpoints, it's just the perfect balance, and you have to do the weapon combos. You have to manage the reloading animations. You have to manage the reloading, the ammo. You have to utilize all your weapons in all the ways that I've said. But Mayo, he played the game, and just the fact that the Nexus checkpoints exist, because your brain, the way it works, trust me, the way it works, it's a neural network, right? So everything that you perceive, it's just going in your brain, and it's analyzing all the information at once, and it's relating all the stuff to each other. So what happens is that when you play the game and you know that that's part of the game, your brain just starts working on knowing, not just an assumption, it just knows that the game, there's no point to doing all that. It's just, even if you know that that's stupid, even if you know that you should just not do it, whatever, you try to play the game, and it's just interference in your brain. And you try to play, and you're just you can't think. You can't play. Because even if you don't even think about it, but you do think about it. But even if you think about it once, and you go, that's fucking stupid, I should not consider that I can just respawn infinitely. That's kind of lame. I should actually try my best. Your brain doesn't just work perfectly like that. It just goes, but I know if I die, I'm fine. I don't have to do all that. So see, you play the game, and your brain doesn't come up with all these alternate ways to play the game. It doesn't come up, it can, but it's harder. Like, it's proportional to what you know. So it's like, it knows that it knows. And it just, you play the game, and look, Under the Mayo went from going weapon combos and all that in Doom Eternal, because if you die, you respawn from the checkpoint. And the checkpoint is like the beginning of whatever encounter you have. And the encounters are pretty long. But anyway, it's like, no, in Prodeus, when you respawn, you just continue. You pick up right there and then it's like, that's an exploit. I don't even have to do anything. Worst case scenario, I respawn, I shoot, I die. I respawn, I shoot, I die. And your brain just starts malfunctioning, guys. And I figured out why I came up with all these things and all that. Because immediately the first time, even when I played the early version, when I got my first Nexus checkpoint, I was like, And then I respawned. I tried. Like, I didn't even try. See, the thing with the brain, I couldn't play right, and then I died. I was like, I fucking sucked. Well, I do want to see what happens when I die with the checkpoint. Maybe that had something to do with it. It's subconscious that it happens. The hardware just goes. And see, then I respawned, and I figured out, oh, death has no consequence and all that. And immediately, I just went, so tune that out. That's not a part of the game. The Nexus checkpoint, that's not a thing. If you die, restart the level. If you die, you died. And immediately, just considering that and starting to do that, every time I died from then on, every time I died, I would just restart the level from the beginning. And it worked. And that's how I enjoyed the game. That's how I started going, fuck yeah, oh yeah, the weapon combo, oh yeah, that's how this gun works. And it was just like Doom Eternal, but in its own Prodeus kind of way. But if you don't do that, if you don't set rules for yourselves, if you don't go around the parameters in the game if you don't go around, I'm just going to say it, stupid design decisions, if you don't do your own way to play the game, and I suggest you guys, and you, Mayo, if you're watching, try it. Try it. I know you can, Mayo, because you beat Doom Eternal on Ultra Nightmare. The entire base campaign. Like, a lot of people have done that. But trust me, I've tried. And it's not nothing. It's a gigantic achievement of skills. Like, it's actually extremely impressive to be able to do that. And if you're able to do that, like, the only Ultra Nightmare things I've done in Doom Eternal are DLC 2, because I love DLC 2. And I love it so much that just playing it motivates me. But also, Super Gornest, I beat it on Ultra Nightmare. And those are the only two things in Doom Eternal I've beat on Ultra Nightmare. So, and look, I play Prodeus where I die in the level, I restart it. Just do that. And I promise you, the entire game, you'll see an entirely different game. Like, just convince yourself, tell yourself, this is the game. Because I'm telling you, you'll start noticing the design, all the resources, how they're distributed, and how many, in what areas. You'll see suddenly it'll all start clicking. It'll all start making sense, and you'll be like, this is the game I was supposed to be playing all this time. Why did the developers screw themselves over? Like, fuck yeah. Like, and I'm just gonna end it there, guys. Just go play Prodeus. It's an amazing game. Just go play it and basically do Ultra Nightmare level by level. That's basically what I'm suggesting, and you'll see that's the game. It gets infinitely better, and it'll just start clicking. Anyway, for Twisted Madness, I am, of course, Evan Locke.
Not only has Full Auto been buffed, but but it's been buffed in specific ways that knowledgeable players have been asking for. They took feedback from myself and other players to figure out what needed to be adjusted. So, to the weirdo commenting that the devs will never listen to my suggestions on Full Auto, and that making these videos for the devs' benefit is some stupid waste of time, how about you suck my ass, bitch?